Hello, my name is Jane Garrison and I'm the admissions tutor at Queen's College in Cambridge.
Hello, my name's Shanna. I'm one of the school's liaison officers at Queen's College, Cambridge.
We're really sorry that we can't welcome you to college today and to have a look around and to see Queen's and the University of Cambridge for yourself.
But we hope that you might find some of the resources that we put online useful to you. There are lots of ways that you can get in contact with us and find out more, so check out our social media channels or send us an email to admissions@queens.cam.ac.uk.
There are also various videos available online. There is no such thing as a silly question, so feel free to ask what you want to know. We will do our best to support and help with all your admissions queries. One of the things I'm very often asked as admissions tutor is what sort of thing we look for in our students.
For us, the most important thing is that you're going to come to here and you're going to do well in the environment that we teach in. So we want to see people who are passionate about their subject.
We want students who are going to thrive in the learning environment in lectures and supervisions and maybe practicals. And these can be a little different perhaps to some universities that you might go to have a look at. We want people who are prepared to go the extra mile, who are not satisfied just with the textbook answer, who want to find things out for themselves and who are really motivated by learning.
There's various different ways that you can assess your application. Lots of information through UCAS forms in various different ways. So things like references from a teacher. We will also have access to your previous examination performance, which we can look at and contextualise.
As well as any assessments that we set for you, be that sending us in essays or doing an assessment test either at interview or before the interview in your own school. The main way in which you can communicate your interest to us academically is through your personal statement. That's your opportunity to explain to us why you're the best person to come to study that particular subject in Cambridge.
There's lots of things that you can put in there. The most important thing for us is a lot of academic input.
We'd like to see your personal statement as being about 2/3 to 3/4 concerning your academic interests.
What you've been reading, what you've been listening to. If you've had the opportunity to go to any talks or to any lectures around your subject area, even if they've been online. Give examples of supercurricular activities you've undertaken. This is a way of providing us with the evidence, because one of the things that we're looking for as an institution is people who can take best advantage of the opportunities that we have. We're an evidence-based, research-led institution, so we're looking for the kind of proof that you're a good person to come to study here.
I spend quite a lot of time talking to young people about what they expect from the assessment process at the University of Cambridge. And almost all of the time, the most intimidating thing for people is the actual interview itself. Now, it's important to emphasise that interviews are not the be-all and end-all of the process. They're not the kind of tiebreaker that we use to make our final decisions, the make or break aspect, if you like. The academics involved really want to find out what you know. It isn't in any way in their interest to trip you up or to talk about things that you have no hope of knowing about.
We want to see interview as an opportunity for you to tell us about what you know. So in terms of how you might want to go about preparing for interviews, I've got a couple of suggestions that hopefully might be helpful to you. First of all, it's a good idea to read back over all the material that you might have sent us. Have a look back at the personal statement. Are there things that you've mentioned that you wanted to talk about in interview? By the way, if it's in the personal statement, it's a pretty fair game for us to use them. Have a look through it and remind yourself what you've already told us, because they're good settling in questions. The likelihood is that an academic might choose to use these as a sort of way to make you feel at ease and make you feel more comfortable at the start of the process.
Have you sent us any written work? If so, go over that, because again, that's something we've got of yours that we might want to talk to you about. Another really important thing to do as well is to have some good practice of talking about your subject. It can come quite naturally for some people and some subjects, so if you're interested in something like politics or history, that might be quite straightforward, but maybe not so natural if you're a mathematician or you're a physicist. So it's worth taking the opportunity to talk to an unfamiliar adult or a friend maybe about your subject and try and make them as interested in it as you are.
It might be an opportunity that you have in school to talk to a teacher you don't know, or it might be that one of your parents' friends will be willing to listen to you talk about your academic interests.
Perhaps suggest to your family that one day a week at supper you talk about your academic interests rather than having a conversation about something else.
Take the opportunity to have a really good chat about your passions. Why are you interested in that subject? Some of the elements that really interest you about it.
The point is that you take the opportunity to talk about your passions, why you are interested in that subject, some of the really interesting elements of that, and things that you like. Take advantage of any opportunity to talk about the things that interest you, that motivate you, that express your passion for the subject, so that you're used to doing that before you get into the interview context of having to do it with some unfamiliar adults in Cambridge. And a lot of the time, while you're at university as well, that's what you're going to have to do in the supervision system itself.
Secondly, make sure within the interview context that you take your time. Sometimes people may ask you a question, you might want them to rephrase it, or give you a little bit more information before you answer. We're not rushing you, we want to see what you can do, so don't necessarily leap in with the first thing that pops into your head.
Sometimes the first thing that comes into your head might not actually be what you're thinking, so don't be afraid to change it as you work your way through it. Very often we want to take you on a journey through the question, and at some point you might get stuck. Now that's absolutely okay. We're more interested in the thinking process that you've gone through in getting to an answer than perhaps the actual answer itself. So some questions you might get from us might not actually have a right answer, so bear that in mind. We're interested in how you think about problems and how you approach them.